Hello, this is Yogeshwar again, and I'm back with my series on Saturn transit. Now, we've already discussed Aries through Aquarius zodiac signs in my previous videos as far as Saturn transit is concerned, and today we are going to be discussing the zodiac sign of Pisces, which is last in the series. Now, as we all know, that Saturn is moving into the zodiac sign of Scorpio starting November the 2nd, 2014, and it will be staying there for approximately 2.5 years. And Saturn, as you know, is an extremely slow planet, and it stays in one zodiac sign for approximately 2.5 years. So all of us are very concerned as to what will be the effect of Saturn. It's more so since it's a great malefic, and also it has been given a role of a judge where it judges us based on our good and bad deeds, and it rewards us for our good deeds and punishes us for our bad deeds. Now, Saturn does come in our lives as a blessing, actually, because we accumulate so much of good and bad deeds, actually rather bad deeds, because we are living in this present day in society where a lot of deeds are considered to be okay, which may not be okay from a spiritual standpoint. So based on the karmas which we accumulate, if Saturn does not come time to time in our lives through either transits or through dashas or main periods or subdashas or antadashas, we may be overburdened because we may have accumulated so much bad karma that at the end of our lives we may not be able to handle it. So we should welcome rather Saturn, because it comes in as a blessing, it cleanses us, and of course rewards us as well. So today we are going to be discussing about the zodiac sign of Pisces, and both as a moon sign and as an ascendant. Although ancient scriptures have described that the moon sign should be taken into consideration for any kind of transits, or gochara as it is called in Sanskrit, but still recent astrological research has concluded that yes, ascendants also are going to be affected on the transit, and so I will recommend both the ascendants and the moon signs of Pisces should watch this video and see how this transit is going to affect them for 2.5 years. So here, as you can see on the screen, number 12 represents the 12th zodiac sign, which is the zodiac sign of Pisces. And people who are not familiar with what a moon sign is, they should look at their birth chart or Rashi chart or Lagna chart, whatever you call it, and then you will see, in case your moon is sitting in number 12, that means the 12th zodiac sign, that means the Pisces, the zodiac sign of Pisces, then your moon sign is Pisces. So you have to look at this video and see how the transit is going to be affecting you and how Saturn will affect you for the next 2.5 years. And also, like I said, people with the ascendant of the Pisces, which you'll see the topmost diamond square, if it has number 12, also should look at this video as to determine as to how the transit of Saturn is going to be. Now, as you know, here Saturn is moving from the zodiac sign of Libra into Scorpio, and as you see on the screen here, that it is moving into the 9th house from the 8th house. So first of all, excellent news for people with the moon sign of Pisces and the ascendant of Pisces is because Saturn is moving out of its 8th house and moving into the 9th house. Now, why it's a good news? Because the 8th house is a very difficult house, and ancient scriptures have described that Saturn, if it sits in the 8th house from the moon, it is called a dhaya, which is a 2.5 years period, tough period, just like a sarisati, which is a 7.5 period, tough period. The dhaya, which is a 2.5 years tough period as far as Saturn transit is concerned, is considered when Saturn is sitting 8th from the moon sign. So good news for Pisces moon sign people. Also for the ascendant of Pisces, like I said, the 8th house placement from the ascendant also must have been extremely challenging in the last 2.5 years. So it's good news for them as well, because it's going to be moving into the 9th house. Now, what will it affect as far as the 9th house is concerned? As far as the 9th house is concerned, the ninth house will also be extremely tough for them, but however not as tough as when it was sitting in the eighth house. Ninth house represents father, higher learning, higher education. So be very careful as far as the health of your father is concerned. Be very careful as far as your relationship with your father is concerned, and you may feel some challenging in terms of, you know, getting higher education. People who are going for their masters or PhDs or stuff like that, there may be slight obstructions. So be very careful. Be very careful as far as the choice of your universities is concerned. So that is how Saturn may be obstructing. And Saturn, as you know, it's a planet of delays because it's so slow moving, it'll delay things. So, you know, you may see, for example, may have applied to a higher university, but, you know, your admission could be delayed and stuff like that. So, of course, there are remedies. So consult an expert Vedic astrologer. Nothing to worry about, and get remedies done. That is extremely very important. Now, as far as the aspect of Saturn is concerned, the third house aspect is going to be falling into the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of income. Of course, Saturn in the 11th house will not be that challenging. It may affect income to some effect, but at the same time, the 11th house placement of Saturn is not considered to be extremely bad, so do not worry a lot about that. However, income may be affected to some extent. As far as the 7th house aspect is concerned, Saturn's 7th house aspect will be on the 3rd house against the 3rd house placement of Saturn, even for transit, is considered to be rather good. So do not worry about that aspect as well. That is well taken care of. And going to the 10th house aspect, Saturn's 10th house aspect is going to be falling on the 6th house. So the 6th house placement of Saturn is also not a bad placement. It is considered to be a good placement, both as far as the placement is concerned in the natal chart or the Lagna chart, and also for transits. So not much of a challenge there. However, since in transits the placement of Saturn may affect a little bit as far as diseases are concerned, or even as far as enemies are concerned, so be a little careful. But as a general rule, Saturn in the 6th may not be that bad of a transit for you. But like I said, be extremely careful as far as your health is concerned. Do your yoga, your meditation, your greens, your salads, your good food, everything. But in general, I would say that for the moon sign of Pisces and for the ascendant of Pisces, this transit will be overall a sigh of relief, which they would feel in the next 2.5 years, because of the fact that Saturn was sitting in the 8th house. In the 8th house, Saturn, especially from the moon, is considered to be extremely challenging. Some astrologers have even gone up to the extent that this is even more challenging than the Sade Sati, or the 7.5 years period. However, there are different opinions on that, but you know, there's no dispute on the fact that the 8th house from the moon is extremely challenging. So again, good news for the ascendants of Pisces and for the moon sign of Pisces, that at least it is moving out of the 8th sign and moving into the 9th house. 9th house, of course, will be also challenging, like I mentioned, but not as challenging as in the last 2.5 years. Keep doing your remedies. Go to an expert Vedic astrologer, and he will provide you with good remedies. Also, as far as transits are concerned of other planets, you may be experiencing a good transit related to some benefic planets like a Jupiter or a Venus, on other functional benefics which may be transiting your chart, which may also balance or neutralize some of the tough effects as far as this Saturn transit is concerned. Also, in case you're having a dasha or a period or a antardasha, or which is called a sub-period of a good planet, which is good for you, or a benefic planet, then also a challenge of a Saturn transit, or the tough effects of Saturn transits can be nullified to a great extent. So overall, I would say this transit will be good for you, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we will be meeting in another interesting topic in our next video. In the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below. Thank you.